Hello, guys.
Hello,
Hello.
Adney.
Why are you guys so serious? I know we're basically discussing abuse over and over again, but for me, I don't think we need to be serious while discussing it.
Indeed.
Literally, it's a serious topic, but not for things you face. But regardless, welcome on Queen's Bar Set though for this amazing podcast. Um, it's all about abuse. It's all about domestic abuse, moment, time. In fact, domestic violence, there's no time for it, no particular moment. I don't know for others, but that's how I feel. I think it's something we need to talk about every day. We need to discuss it. Like, we need people to know and understand it every single day. So basically, it's something we need to be saying. So, for me, let me just do a little introduction because I love my name. I am sorry, guys. I am Adni Soa of Adni Vibes. Yes, the girl with a vibe at all points. And then to my amazing guest, who are you?
Hello, Adney.
Yeah.
I am John
Okay.
Safoyo.
Okay.
Yeah,
Nice. And my beautiful lady.
Hello.
Hmm.
Kind of like have long name, but
You
I'll
have
call it
long name.
short.
No, no, you don't cut it short. That's the beauty about it. What? Why do you want to cut it short? That's
Actually,
bad.
sometimes long people kind of like feel bored.
No, they don't. Let them
Ah,
feel bored. You tell them your name because
yeah.
it's your name.
indeed.
Mm-hmm. So,
Okay.
mm.
My names are Juliana Princess Margaret Memuna Nancy Kuruma.
Oh
Wow.
my God, that's a whole dictionary. I can say
Yeah.
it, but that's beautiful.
Thank you.
So, what mainly was your motivational topic based on, and how did you feel to discuss that?
Um. Okay. Well, if you ask me, my topic was mainly based on the cycle of abuse in families, and
And that's a lot.
yep, it's a lot.
Mm.
You know, when we talk about abuse, mainly starts from the family.
Yeah,
Mainly
mostly.
starts from birth. It mainly
Mostly.
starts from how people or people growing up
Yeah,
in these homes,
yeah.
what they see, what they learn
Hmm.
is what they will have to portray when they grow up.
Yeah, sure.
So mainly these are cycles that are never ending. They kept on going, they kept on going, and they kept on going
Yeah,
because it's like a norm. The sooner you see it when you are young, when you are a child, then it's indebted in you to
sure.
actually portray that, to actually use that as a reference when actually violating women or involving in domestic violence.
Well, then, I'm sorry to cut you off. Yes, I know I'm a woman, but when we talk about abuse and domestic violence, it doesn't base on gender. Do
uh,
you know women can be
yep,
a
yeah,
problem
but
as well?
like yes, but like, what I'm saying is that women are the most vulnerable,
Yes, they are the
and like
most vulnerable.
80 to 85% of the domestic violence
Hmm.
are women.
Do you watch true crimes?
True crimes.
Yeah.
Is it a movie or a
It's not a
series or
movie. These are true crime, true criminal things that happens.
criminal things?
Yes,
Okay.
if you watch them, then you know this thing is vast. Then you know it's vast. When you watch different type of true crime and then you do more researches, then you will know domestic violence doesn't only base on women.
Yeah.
We have women that are brutal.
Of
There are
course,
some
of course.
women who can go extreme for not for any reason. There are certain people who have pain from their childhood, who think they want to vent it out on men or stuff like that. Maybe she has been abused by somebody else and then she wants it. So basically, for me, I don't like basing it gender wise. I like to like broaden it. It's a general thing.
sorry to cut you,
No,
but
it's fine.
Adney, don't you think
Mm.
that we give, like, especially men?
Mm.
I'm actually basing it
Mm.
like on I'm not actually depicting you that it's not based on gender, but I'm actually seeing it as, men will use that as a way to be more involved in domestic violence, or people will actually see that as a way to be more involved in that.
Let me tell you the fact that I know. Humans in general nowadays just believe in abusing people. People tend to abuse people not because of gender, but because they feel they have the power and
Yeah,
authority
yeah.
to do it, not because of gender.
Okay.
The only thing I like doing, I don't like basing things gender wise because you always tend to, you know, not get the narrative
Narrative.
well. It's hard to like send in your message or send out your message to people because you have different people. The moment you start saying, oh, it's just about female, then you have some people who attempt not to listen. They are like, okay, this one is not for me, it's for this particular gender. But when you speak out and know that this happens to everybody, there are young boys that are being abused at home.
Yeah.
And when they grow up, trust me, it's not going to be good.
Yeah, but society has portrayed that way actually.
Okay.
So, like, no sooner you mentioned domestic violence, it's women.
Well, funnily enough, I feel like we need to change narratives of saying society. When I speak, I tend to do research. I tend to think well, not because of what society says, but because of what I believe it's the fact and truth.
Okay.
I don't tend to please society because if you tend to please them and do what they want, my dear, you will always go out of contest. What was your motivation about?
It's about abuse, emotional abuse, especially when it comes to kids, because we tend to see that, just like they say, women are vulnerable.
Okay.
Kids that are below 18 are way more vulnerable because they don't have voice. Just
all.
like he was saying,
Yeah.
back in the days when they talk about abuse, you intend to throw that on a woman because women didn't have much to say at home. They're just like a utility. You can just go to the market, the man will buy, come home, put it there. It's just there. They use it whenever they want. So this men tend to abuse these ladies at any time, at any point of time.
Not before, it still happens.
Yeah,
That's
it still happens, but
yeah.
sometimes back in the days there was not much of a disagreeing and agreement.
Yeah, to speak
Now you
out.
can abuse a woman if it reach that peak where she'll say at this particular time, maybe I gave for me picking them. She'll speak out, but first the time you say I did for me picking them. But now,
But do you
ladies don't
know
take it.
people still do it?
Yeah,
Ladies
they do. And that's why it hurts us the most that as a lady, you know your worth. You know, your parents have taught you, especially those that that went to school. If you see, they know their rights, but they're too afraid.
But do you know when you say a parent, do you know some parents are the ones telling them to like accept abuse
Exactly.
as a normal stuff?
They put that kind of idea that says that he's your husband, you need to be submissive.
Well, at times I think that's because of maybe the condition of the family, as in, like, maybe they are poor, or maybe that husband or that household is actually the one supporting them.
Well,
So
that's
they
the
tend,
mentality we need to change.
yeah, especially
Because
in,
regardless of who is supporting who, regardless of who has more money than who, you shouldn't be a slave
Exactly.
to money itself, because you accepting to be like a slave to that person. You're being a slave to money or to whatever.
Indeed. But despite the fact that I've witnessed a lot of people where the woman is like the one financing the home, but if you look, the man is like there abusing the lady,
It
abusing
happens
the
again.
wife. Sometimes you kind of like consider, what's the problem?
What
You're
I'm
the one bringing the money to the table, putting food, shelter, and clothing and everything, and you're
because
left.
the old narrative was why I told John to not talk about society. They are doing it. A lot of people are doing it for society. Some people are like, if I leave the marriage now, what will people see? What will the society see? Now, but when you're dead and gone,
The
all they
society
can
will
say
still
is
be
rest
talking.
in peace. And they will still continue the conversation. So for me, I feel like abuse is something we really need to dive in. You know, most of this conversation are not really reaching the right audience. Trust me, they are not. Um, I don't like to base words like narrow it down, like say in Sierra Leone. But if you use presently we all use internet daily, we can get a lot of do a lot of research and then we get to, understand. When you go online, you see a lot of cases. I love watching true crime. So I love watching it. And that has taught me a lot that some people are just abusive. They find pleasure in
Doing
it.
it.
They so find pleasure in hurting others.
Exactly.
Whilst we have people, just like your topic or soft stuff have to deal with, who had faith in it at their childhood, and because they don't have the mind to speak out at that time, they have grown with it, and to them it is acceptable. Abuse is just acceptable because if you went through the abuse, like being beat up, or you're around a family wherein the mother and father are always fighting, they are always arguing, you tend to normalize it that this is normal,
Exactly.
that this is how couples behave.
Exactly. And sometimes these things are like very traumatizing for kids. Because
Yes.
sometimes you send your kids to school and your teacher will be just calling you, your child is not doing this. Do you know what
Well,
you're doing?
and then the child is always fighting
Exactly.
because to them it is normal. To
Yeah.
them, if you speak to me harshly, I just need to bounce back
Yeah.
because that's what they see at home. And if maybe the dad is the one bullying the mom,
Yeah.
and then she's a daughter, she accept that it's okay for them to bully her, so she won't speak out, she will never. And then when she get married or get into relationship, she tend to accept it. There are
Exactly.
people, I can tell you, there are people, if they get into a relationship, people who have faced, like ladies who have faced abuse, and then they get into a relationship wherein maybe the guy is not abusive, the guy doesn't beat,
They tend to be fiercing. They are
like
very much insecure.
they are very much like peace, like why is this person not doing this person doesn't love me, because mostly when they see their dad doing this to their mother and then they ask their mom, most of their mom just say, oh, this is how he shows how he loves me. And then when I get, yeah, that's fact. When I get old enough, if I have a man and you do not show me that type of love, I will tend to feel you don't love
Exactly.
me.
Yeah, of course, because like
Exactly.
that's actually what you've grown up to see,
Yes.
and it's like a normal thing. It's like a normal
Normal
stuff.
routine
You've
to
grown
you.
up knowing that. But what I want to ask actually is, how do we think
Hmm.
um like we can solve this problem? Because kept on going, kept
I
on
can
going,
tell you,
kept on
abuse.
going. Abuse, domestic abuse, domestic abuse, all over. There are things that have been put in place, but it seems it's not working. System is not working.
Because
Nothing is
what I
actually working.
understand, it cannot be stopped now. We can only provide like remedies. and let people understand their worth and when to say no and when to say stop. You know why I say it cannot be stopped now? Just as we're saying, a lot of kids are going through it now. They don't listen, like they do not understand what abuse is. And these kids are the next generation futures. So tell me what they're going to offer.
Exactly.
So in this part of the world, we really don't like work on therapy. You know, we don't do it that much. We don't really work on that. But a lot of people need it. A lot of kids in school. For me, one thing I feel like they can put in place is schools having therapists, counselors, talking to kids to speak out when they feel they are going through these things. If you want to tackle things that are happening, you tackle it from the root. You can never solve it now and then leave the kids who are going through it because they are coming. And when they're coming, it's going to be bad.
Yeah.
So if you want to solve it, you go down.
Exactly. But just like you said, we first of all we cannot stop abuse, but the best we can do is to prevent it from continuously happening because in
To
the next
reduce
2 to 5 years, we don't know what's going to become of our youths. We don't know what's going to
Reduce it.
become of the kids yet unborn. We don't know what's going to become of the next generation. The best thing we can do is to put strategies that wherein when they come, even if it's in inside documents or written, they can come here and say, "Oh, this particular thing I've read. This particular thing is this." And there are laws that are going to emphasize that if you do this to your child, this is a punishment. Because in Africa here, let's say our country as a whole, what we fear most is punishment, especially when it coming or like it's been enforced. We
Okay.
fear those things.
Yeah, but I feel
Okay.
like I feel like
Can we just hold it there for a little bit? Let's go for a little break. And when we're back, I think we can continue.
Indeed.
okay.
Okay, for you were about to say something.
So yeah, so just as she was saying,
Yeah.
I just wanted to buttress on where she said she was trying to talk about the law enforcement.
Yeah.
So like I feel like it's not working. These systems are not working because it's something we kept on hearing every single now and then. If you go to the police station now, you hear about domestic violence. So like I just want to say it's not I don't know why, but it's not working.
Exactly. Why? So according to my own observation, it's not working because the laws are not given the way it should. The laws
Okay.
are there because it's already
Okay.
there that
Yeah,
all child
yeah,
should have their
yeah.
voice, they should be heard, they should be there, this and that.
Okay.
But the manner in which these laws are enforced are not done well.
Okay.
There are certain situations where a parent or a guardian will go up country, collect a child from a particular family and say, okay, I'm coming to train your child, just like the way I've done for my own, pull her to school and all that. And you suspect that when that particular person brings that child back here, they will either put the person into child trafficking, doing household chores, which is undone.
Yeah.
And there's certain times when you ask these parents, what happened? Well, maybe they go up, me auntie give me markets for sale. So you know they kind of meals, sell. So you've noticed that it's the same thing they gave to that parent that they want to give to their kids or the kids they're taking care of, which is bad. Because if that child now has that mentality that, okay, my auntie said I should start my own business, I should learn how to do business, it's hard for them to be focused at school. It's even hard for them to create that kind of healthy relationship because they know that, okay, I'm coming to school at this time, which I'm not supposed to be. Maybe they are late or so, and they start giving those excuses. You tend that these people are like abused even at school because a teacher that does not know the situation might find it that kind of pleasure way to punish the child, not knowing that at home she's going through torture or he or she's going through torture. So this certain times you see a little kid out there abusing drugs. It's not as if they were not going to school, but the kind of things they went through at home It's
Yeah.
giving them that kind of tension that, oh, why should I go to school? When I go to school, my teacher will flog me. My teacher will be giving me assignments. I'll not be fortunate to do it because of the work I have at home. I don't have that kind of pleasure time to go to occasion just like my mates. So like they find it hard to mingle in the society.
Yeah,
They find it hard.
yeah, and
Yeah, sure.
at times it tells on their performances at
Academic
school. Yep.
performance.
Most of them are they'll be very clever, but because of these continuous actions back at home, it will tell on their performance.
Yeah.
You see them repeating, you see them having bad grades,
Okay.
and being violent also, as you mentioned, in
Yeah.
school.
Sure.
Yeah.
Which is really, according to me,
Okay.
it's really going to be affecting our next generation to come. Because
So,
if we are having a society wherein the illiterates are plenty, who will tell who? Like you will
so
just be saying the word and the other will be conquering. So
yeah.
there will be too much of dominant kids. There will be too much dominant
Exactly.
youths out there because
Okay.
their childhood growing up has been abusive.
They have been abusive, yes. But do we think like going back, like saying their parents have been abusing them, their family members, maybe auntie, uncle, have been abusing these people? But how did these people get the mentality, get the thoughts of abusing others?
Well, if I can buttress to what you're saying,
Yeah.
a child is little. They normally say, now what you train a picking out they carry it. They say train your child the way you want he or she should go, so that when they grow up, they will not be depart from it. If you teach your child that this particular thing is not good, when they go out there, they'll be the one telling their colleagues that, okay, my mommy told me that this one is not good.
Okay.
But if you maltreat them at home and at school or anywhere they find themselves, somebody does something to them, instead of them to forgive, they will
Yeah.
retaliate.
Okay.
They will be there enforcing their own strength.
Okay.
There are certain times you find out that at school there are kids that are injuring their fellows. There are kids that are using abusive words on the teachers, on their fellow. If you look deep down, their parents are having faults, because you can't have your kids at home. You know fully well that that particular kid is going to school. You start using abusive words. You start throwing tantrums. They will not even have respect for you as the parents, which is going to lead to disrespect to even the elderly ones they meet out there.
Yes, that's facts.
Exactly.
That's true. But what I'm saying here now is, let's leave the family abuse and stuff, but let us recollect to how abuses mostly starts. A lot of people inherit abuses from their family traits. Um, there are people who just get it from their dad, from their mom, just because they feel, I was born with this. Like, there are people who are born with violence
Yeah.
in them. Even as a baby, you may see a particular child just, even if another child takes his or her teddy or play stuffs, he becomes violent
Yeah.
because of family trait as well. And also, what I as well understand is most of these people get to be born in, extended family
Extended,
as
yeah,
well,
yeah.
wherein maybe their dad has like 4 or 5 wives,
Yeah.
and
trying to seek attention,
yeah.
that kind
So
of
let's
affection.
say your dad have like 2 or 3 wives, and your dad is abusive as well to one of the wives, and then you fall victim of being a child to the victim's mother. Now you're going to be abused. You're going to see it, and to you it is normal.
Yeah.
For firstly, most of the people getting married to 3, 4 wives, check it. Some of them, not all, their dad did the same. So mostly when they are being told, oh, you're not supposed to do this, what their remarks or their answers are is it is normal.
I met
Maybe,
it.
yes,
I met
my
it
papa
before I was
married
born.
5, 6. Maybe
Why
it's a
shouldn't
not
I?
two are married.
you know, Andy, like,
So,
Which is not healthy though.
like, to him or her, it is normal
Yeah.
because that's what I met. That's how my dad did it. So I am supposed. So when that person becomes of age,
Yeah.
they tend to just replicate what they saw or what they're being taught at a younger age.
Adney, like as you're saying,
Yeah.
these are learned behaviors.
Yeah.
Yeah. Most of them, you know, it's they do not want to actually involve in that, but
Yeah.
it's what they know. It's
Yes.
actually what they met.
Yeah.
It's actually what they've seen throughout
Sure.
their life. So, like you are saying, they will just replicate that. They'll just use that as a cushion,
Yes.
as in, yeah, now it's so.
To them, it's normal.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
normal.
To them, it's a way of life.
Exactly.
I should not divert from what I've been told or I have been taught or I have seen.
especially when you deal with people that are very emotional, they tend to do everything that connects with their past events.
Yes.
There are certain kids, when you start asking them about their past scars in their body, you'll be like, that's something we want to talk about. If you look deep down, it has been very abusive. You know, nowadays, just like you said, it's something they've met. Nowadays, we are hearing about secret societies. Now they are not emphasizing those stuff.
Yeah.
They're not emphasizing. There are certain kids that we are forced to do it.
Yeah.
They were forced to do it. And
Yeah.
now you see some of these parents that we are forced to do it wants to force their kids to also go through those stuff.
Yes.
Which sometimes is not even healthy.
Firstly, that's a topic on its own because that's one thing most parents used to like lure their children like
Exactly.
with blessings, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Oh, I was once like I wanted to go, but thank you to my dad.
Exactly.
But yeah, I was like a lot of times again we tend to like to see things not only from like a family, parent. Now our surroundings can build us again. That's why they said there are certain areas that kids are being trained. I will not call names, but we know there are certain areas. I don't want problem. But there are certain areas that some kids are being trained, even when they get older, even when they're matured, even when they're educated. They just have that trait of where they came from.
Exactly.
It is within them. The violence is in their blood.
If you start asking them where were you growing up and the
Yes,
person calls that this is the particular place, you'll be like, I no doubt.
Yeah,
Like
no
those
doubt,
kinds of
no
things
doubt.
are
So basically, we have a lot to do. That was why I was saying, when you ask, how are we going to solve it? I told you, solving now, our generation cannot solve it.
Exactly.
Because we have the younger ones who are watching their parents, who are watching the surrounding, who have inherited already the trait of violence, who believe violence is the only solution. Yeah. Abusing another person makes them happy. Abusing another person is a normal norm.
Yeah.
Those people, those children are growing. And when they are grown, it is going to be a problem. Definitely. So to my own, like for me, what I was thinking, if we really want to service this situation of abuse and stuff, we go back to the primary schools. Let there be therapists in these schools. Let there be counselors in these schools. Some kids come to school and you see them, you know there is a problem.
Exactly.
You literally understand that this particular child is going through something.
And sometimes what I also notice is that kids are out there having potentials. Like there are a lot of kids right now that are out there. When you ask them, what do you want to become? I want to become a doctor, which is so motivating. But the teachers, those authorities at school are not helping situations. Because just like you said, if they're counseling, actually in our country, trust me, that thing called therapist cannot work. But teachers here have a lot of work to play. they're having like 5 to 6 hours with kids almost every single day. You get? So if that child is not feeling connected at home, I believe when they come home, they need to feel connected. But there are certain teachers, they abuse these kids. They abuse them either physically, either sexually. They abuse them, which is very, I don't know, it sometimes manipulates with this kid's emotion, saying that I come to school, the teacher is not helping, I go home, it's the same thing. What am I doing? Like, what
I
is my
believe,
direction? I can't.
Now,
yeah, and
now,
I
if you want
believe,
to observe a kid's mentality for the future, let me tell you this: kids who, let's say, when they grow up, they are going to be abusive a lot. You understand them from school; they are bullies
Exactly.
mostly. Now, when you do your research well with bullies in school, mm, you will find out at home they cannot talk.
They are
At
very
home,
starved.
they are being starved of love and family
Affection.
encouragement.
And sometimes
At
they find out
home,
pleasure doing it to someone
they are
else.
being abused. Now, because they cannot fight back at home, they tend to fight back outside, where they think they have the power to fight.
Exactly.
That's where they fight. And that has been built in them. When they get older, when they get matured, they get people around them that they can do the same thing to. My goodness, all what they went through back then, they are going to pour it out on those
exactly
people. So whether it's a man or woman in a relationship or having a kid, again, they're going to do the same, because to them it is normal.
And sometimes also what I notice here is that there's certain parents now, what they are going through, like if this mom and this mom are not having good times, they will translate it to their kids, which is sometimes causing beefing between two kids.
Yes.
Be like, okay, this like you do this to me, mama, but I go to and give you. And sometimes this beefing continues until they are grown up. Sometimes they will not even know the truth behind it. They will not even know what is causing their parents to be doing this, but they still continue because their parents are pinning those ideas in their brain. They are pinning those ideas to them. Yeah. There are some certain kids, when you go out there, when you see them, why are you doing this? This? Hey, mama, I need to care me, mama. Okay, this? And papa, I need to do me, papa, this. So sometimes, if two parents are going through difficult times, don't involve your kids. Because you are giving that kind of mindset that is not good. It is definitely not good for your kid.
At all.
It's not good because for you now, you say, okay, I'll keep silent. But you don't know what your kid might be thinking to do. Yeah. You don't know what kind of perspective that child is keeping for the other person's child, which is creating a very indecent environment. So it's very indecent.
So it means like the parents have a greater role to play.
Very much.
I feel like not only parent, but society, parents, community, schools, we all have a way of stopping it if we're ready. But we're going for a break again, and when we come back, we'll continue.
Definitely.
So guys, like, I want to throw a little bit of light on a particular abuse topic as well. Just something before we run out of here. Financial abuse. Funnily, that is one that people really don't understand that it's an abuse, you know. Now, a lot of times when people get married, you tend to hear maybe the husband tell the wife, I want you to stay at home, not to work. Just stay at home and take care of the kids. Just be a full-time housewife. Maybe at the start he will say, I'll pay you. But when you accept that offer, comes a problem.
Especially for a man that does not stand by his words.
And when the wife has nothing, especially when the person is not coming from that home that offers her financial stability, that's where the problem comes in.
Yeah.
So, like,
the man tend not to give the money, and then you have nowhere else. You need to ask him. He wants you to ask when you want to buy sugar. He wants you to meet him when he wants to buy even cream for your body. Now he knows if you have issues,
with him.
yes, if he says he will not give you, you have nowhere to go. So you have to succumb to whatever he says. If he says sit, you have to sit because you know
You have
he
no source of
is.
income.
So that's what I was initially. I talked about that initially.
Okay.
That is one of the reasons why like some some women especially go through abuse,
Yeah.
because if your background is not that up to
Strong.
date,
Yeah.
it's not financially stable, then there is a problem.
Yeah.
And if there is a problem, whatever issue, whatever you come back, because you might be coming back to your family to tell them how what you're undergoing, but what will they tell you? Go
Go
back
back.
to your home, because
Remember, he's in
that's
charge of the home.
yes, because that man is in charge of your
The
whole
home.
family. So
But
you
Exactly.
just
that's
have to undergo
that's
that.
where it comes in. That's where you think about yourself. That's where you put yourself first. You know, even when I live here, I might not have it financially, but trust me, there are things outside that you can get that are better and deserving of
Very
you
much.
than what you're getting there.
Yeah,
Very
because like
much.
most of these women, they are, they are exceptional people. Most of them are
Some
graduates. Most
are
of them can do
beautiful, they are
exceptionally well.
educated. Some
But
are not
Exactly.
because
educated, but they are good in crafts.
yeah.
They are good in business.
They're very much good in
So
marketing.
what is the problem is for you to gear yourself up. Be ready and say, I am ready to leave this abusive place. I am ready to move past this. Trust me. When you make up your mind, when you set yourself that I am moving, you won't know what is coming for you.
Yes,
Exactly.
exactly.
And that sometimes tends to affect the whole family. Because if the dad, as the head of the house, is not giving the money to the mom,
Yeah.
that is controlling, like dividing, she's the sole breadwinner of that home right now. When the man is the husband is not around, how do you expect the mother to provide for the kids that when the man is not around?
No, I can tell you, it's sometimes slightly. We have some men who are abusive to their wife, but so love their kids.
Yeah.
They can, so that's where some of the moms like get what they need, because the dad can only give something when it involves the kids.
Exactly. And sometimes those certain situations, you find that there's so much imbalance, because as the wife that did all the sacrifices to give you a bouncy baby boy or girl, now you are prioritizing your kids over. It's not bad, because that's like a soul part of you, but you can't use the child as a means of getting an income from your own husband.
Well, the funniest thing about that, now we're saying for the woman to live in that situation where the kids see their dad as a good person, as an icon, as a role model.
Exactly.
When you, the woman, leave, or when you tend to go, the kids will never understand.
Exactly. Especially when they don't have that kind of communication.
But you don't have to think around that. When you leave, you'll find a way to explain. When you're ready to go, you take them with you.
What if the dad doesn't agree?
Okay. At some point, it depends with the kid's age, because by law, if they're I think below 7, the mom has rights. I think after that age, the child has a right to like choose. So the only thing I can tell you, even when the dad is trying to please, what happens a lot in those scenarios, the mom tend to always protect their husbands a lot. Women sometimes, just like men,
giving those kind of good concepts to
what
the kids.
they do is like just make them feel like this person is in charge, this person is good. So even when things happen, the kids don't know. So when you want to take decision, you're afraid of what the kids. When you're dead and gone, another woman will come into that home. And trust me,
kids will suffer.
The kids will not
Of
be in
course.
peace.
thank you. So for me, I believe whether it's financial abuse, whether it's childhood trauma, whether it's family abuse, whatsoever that may lead to abuse, domestic violence, we need to like fight it out as individuals. Yes, we need government to take charge. Yes, we need the authorities to fight for us. But trust me, you as an individual learn to read the signs. Now, I mostly say things do not happen overnight. They do
takes
not
time.
grow. Even when you're dating, when you're courting, you tend to see the little red flags.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We skip them with the belief that the individual
Will
will
change.
change.
Yeah, there will be hope.
It is hard for abusers to change.
Exactly.
It takes the grace of God to change. And let me tell you, you are not a therapist. You're not a doctor. You're not a counselor.
Definitely.
You are not
Definitely.
going to change them.
Exactly.
Let them go and seek help.
Yes.
When they're ready, when they are changed, when they are okay, then
should
you
come
can
back.
think of taking them back.
Yeah.
But thinking, I need to take this person because if
He
this
has gone through this and
yes,
this.
I need to. You are
which
not
is
a doctor.
which is sometimes putting your own self in
And
danger.
Your children in danger, your
Exactly.
family in danger, your mental health in danger,
Exactly.
your emotional being in danger.
Definitely.
We have a lot to think about before going into a relationship, a friendship, and also as people coming up, young couples or finding areas to live. Be mindful of the places you stay. There are some areas that are abusive to you as a person that will be abusive to your kids.
Especially through the communication, because there's certain things your husband or your wife might not be allowed. But if that kind of place is not that kind of healthy environment, they intend to pass words that are not good for your spouse, that are not good for your kids. There's some kids where they don't know about their family problems, but when they go outside there, they hear it from people.
Yeah.
They are too scared now to come to their dads or their parents. Oh, mom, I heard this. Is it true? Is it true? That's how kids, they will be so very confident about themselves and come up to ask.
And
So sometimes if you find yourself in those kinds of environments, it's hard for you to prevent your kids from problems.
Thank you.
And talking about courtship,
Yeah.
I think it has to do with decision. There are some things that happen when you are in the courtship stage that you need to think of. These things might be an hindrance to you.
Yeah.
These things might affect you guys in the future.
Exactly.
But because of mostly love and mostly I don't want to
Yes.
leave this
I
person.
love you.
You understand?
Yes, there's
Or
a new
because
love.
of whatever
Yeah.
the person
New
is
love.
giving.
It's giving you, so you
Right.
might tend to labia, okay, you understand? Until the time you guys
reach that
maybe
peak.
get married,
Yeah.
and then the
It's hard
person
for you to
will, the
make
actions will
decisions
start
and
coming out. The
it's
actions
hard.
will start coming out, and you cannot make up your mind at that time because
Exactly.
what? It's
The
too
deal
late.
has already been done.
Okay,
So-
so I think that's one thing you as a lady or as a man, you need to
Individuals
to
in
look
general,
at.
it's not just ladies. You see the red flags, tend to understand the red flags and walk away when it is needed.
Exactly.
These abuses you can see for financial abuse is something that is not hidden. You see it.
Yeah.
You see it. Somebody may tell you today, don't do business, even courtship. When the person knows that you can earn money on your own, the person is always, afraid,
Yeah.
insecure,
Yes.
because the person
They
wants to
might
be
leave
in
at any
charge
time.
and in control. Understand that. Some people say, oh, now because he loved me, once spoil me. We understand spoiling. Spoiling you is different from controlling you.
Yeah, they can still spoil
financially.
you despite the amount of money you're earning.
Thank you.
So you should not
And
allow
not
a man
feel-
telling you this and this
And
and this.
then not feel insecure as well.
Yeah.
Though at times it's like you, the individual, that maybe give the cause for someone to abuse you, because like you are giving them that motive to abuse you.
Yes, making them
We are
feel
seeing
like you're
these,
not
we are
valued.
seeing these happening in universities, in our societies.
Yeah.
So there are people doing it, paying for sex, or because
That's
that's
that's another
another area where abuse happen a lot.
a lot. Yeah,
Lecturers might ask you for sex,
that
for grade and all,
that's the other
and
of the
yeah,
door.
yeah. So at times
But I think
you
I
the
need to
individual
have a topic on that. But that will
give the
be
cause for
Exactly. And
maybe.
financial abuse.
sometimes what makes it very hard for, just like you say, in universities and then places you may find yourselves, it's hard for you to speak out because of the influence that particular person is having.
Individual
You
has
you tend to be scared, even in marriage, even in families. Sometimes these kids, they don't even have voice because they're afraid that, oh, my mom and my dad are the ones that are providing for me. If I say this, what will be the repercussion?
Yeah.
If I say this to my husband, what will happen? If I
Nah.
say this to my lecturer, what will happen of my grades? What will happen to my... I've seen a lot of people that left college. When you ask them what happened, I tend to do this. I refuse this guy. I refuse in my body. I refuse this. And he kind of like degraded me. The grades that I worked hard for, spent nights, sleepless nights studying, were not given to me. Why
And
am I
then you went
attending
on.
college?
Yeah.
You stop
Which is so bad.
going.
So this influence sometimes hindered the voice.
And let me tell you that what's that going to be? You know, that individual will have it in the back of his or her head for the next future.
Exactly.
If that person has the opportunity, if it's a man, to lecture, that individual will do the same.
Yeah.
Exactly. And
Exactly.
sometimes they intend to
Yes,
transfer those
yes,
messages
yes.
to their kids. There was one time when I was like, okay, I need to go to college. And I was like, why are you excited about college? I said, I want to go there, experience. He said, my sister, when you go there, you will see a different version of men. See, now you see your guy looking all good and this. See, but when you go there, you see some men, they're in that kind of good suited clothes, but within them, they are beasts. Use you, especially your physical appearance. They'll be there just seeing you and telling you, okay, this is it.
Let's not do
So
physical.
they are like, they're transferring that message they went through college to me
yeah,
now.
that's
So
normal.
that's giving me that kind of hindrance that, oh, if I go to college, this is what I'm expecting. Oh, this is what I'm this. Oh. And sometimes you tend that the knowledge we have now is that it has never changed. Since those times till now, it's still happening. It's now a little bit civilized, but it's
happening.
worse.
But
It's
before you
normal,
go there, you
actually.
have people telling you, but anyways,
That's
trust
so,
me,
so,
all
so.
I feel we can do, we cannot solve it.
Exactly.
We can just tend to like minimize it and help to pass on information.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's the only thing we're doing
Yeah,
right
we
now.
can
Definitely.
heal. We can heal
Let's
from
be
that.
able
Actually,
to like inform people, let them understand the different type of abuses they can
Exactly.
face, and what some things that we do, we think it's normal.
That's not normal, actually.
That's not normal.
Normal.
And there are things we do to kids that may tend to grow in them
Yeah.
for the next generation. Let us try to like help people.
Exactly.
Let us tend to explain and educate others so as to like help minimize and reduce abuse, because abuse,
it's the other of
It's
the
a
day.
whole lot of
Um,
topic.
It's the other of
I
the
feel
day.
like abuse is something we can talk on completely
Forever.
for a year. You will never
Forever.
get tired because
Yeah.
you get
Exactly, because every
It's-
day it's a
every
new
day you have
pattern,
different-
every day is a
yeah,
new
yeah.
strategy. So sometimes you
So-
find it hard to even
Yeah.
dialogue it.
Yeah. So
Exactly.
literally, we're coming to the end of this podcast. It has been fun, educative, and interactive as well.
Definitely.
But let's say you give us your last words. What's your advice to people out there, and what you think in your own accord?
Well, my advice would generally go to everybody, the parents, the community as a whole, the government, and especially the kids, because they can normally say, now you decide who you want for being life.
Yeah.
You don't let somebody describe who you are going to be, just like what I encountered today and what I was here to present on. There are certain traumas we go through as kids. Like for me, there are a lot of things I went through as kids. But if somebody will tell you I'll be here today, you will never believe.
Yeah, sure.
But I, within myself, decided that, Juliana, this is you. This is what they are doing now.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's left with you to give your kids a better future.
Yeah.
Ones that you never had. Okay? So as a kid, or as a teenager, or as a child, you might not have that sufficient love and affection from your parents, but you should determine within yourself that I must make it in life. I must be able to be experiencing what it really feels like to be loved.
Okay.
And as parents are like the breadwinners of kids. Like you say, charity begins at home first.
Home.
A lot
Always.
of us mentors our parents. A lot of kids mentors their guardians.
Yeah.
So as a parent, if you want your child to become a role model, you have to be the model first.
Yeah.
Because a lot of things these kids are saying out there that they're doing, this comes from home. They're learning it from home. So you have to be able to observe your kid. Providing and protecting your child is not just about when she goes to school, you call her, are you there? You go to school. You have to be able to emotionally feed her, because that's one of the things that kids lack. They don't have the voice coming from school. They don't have someone that will call them, how's your school today? How's your this today? Did you have any problems? And if you have this small teenage boy that are doing that before you turn, a lot of girls are out there getting pregnant at a very tender age, wherein some parents will be like, I'm very disappointed. But did you play your role as a parent? Did you do what you're supposed to do as a parent? You did not. There are certain things you lacked on. Just because you are the head of the house, nobody could complain. Nobody could speak out. So as a parent, you need to listen to your kid. And as much as you want your kid to talk to you, you need to be able to give them the listening ears.
Okay.
And to the community as a whole, you have to, where we go from a country kind. Because sometimes when where some parents an elderly person go and correct them picking and they say, not to you feed them for me, which is bad.
Yeah.
You should not say that, because it's not all the time you be around your kids. But if that particular person is seeing your kids doing this and this, and they come up to you and tell you that, oh, this is your child, I saw them. Listen, observe, so you will learn as a parent. Because they can normally say nobody's too big to learn. No matter,
At
even
all,
if
you learn every day.
yes, even if you've given birth to
Yeah.
32 kids, you still are missing something out.
Because
Learning is a
every
process.
kid has
Yes,
their own
they
character,
have, exactly.
their own attitude. So
Yes.
you learn every day.
Exactly. And nowadays, these people are saying we are the Gen Z generation. The Gen Z generation, we're like, ah.
The Gen Zs.
Yeah. So as a community as a whole, they have a lot of things to play, because that's our surrounding when we find ourselves. If we are finding ourselves in an abusive environment, it's hard for us to translate. So in order for us to live in a peaceful and a dynamic place, we need to find ourselves with people that can understand. We need to find ourselves in the place where people can encourage us.
Yeah.
Because you can't find yourself in a community where you pass, people start giving comments.
Okay.
Do you know why this person is dressing like this? Do you know why she's looking like this? Have you tried to ask? Have you tried to compliment? Have you tried to be part of that person's shoes?
Yeah.
No. So as a community as a whole, you guys have they have a lot of role to play. And to the government, oh my God, they are the order of the day. Making laws are not bad, but enforcing them is what is important. It has to be enforced in homes. It has to be enforced in the schools, in the communities. Because what's happening now in our university, you cannot go to the court and say this is what my lecturer is doing. They will never believe you. In fact, they will not even take your words for granted. So if the government is there to emphasize those laws, giving justice to these people, I think those things will stop. It will not only stop, it will reduce, it will minimize. That way, if a lecturer wants you, they'll go to your parents.
Yeah.
They will do it in that kind of way where if you knew yourself as the lady or as the man, you'll be respected, you will feel wanted, you will feel accepted and not used. Because nowadays, what we've seen, I call it, it's like you are using her to give her grades, she's using you to get money, which is undone. Relationships are not meant to be built like that.
Okay.
So that will be my word for today.
Okay. Thank you. That was amazing.
Definitely.
She said everything.
Yeah, but
Okay.
coming from the point where you mentioned about making up your mind.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to come from that point.
Okay.
Actually, we can heal.
Yeah.
We can grow beyond the hurt. It doesn't mean that what you saw when you were young, what you saw as a child, you need to repeat that.
Yeah, sure.
We have the power to make a decision. We have the power to break the cycle.
Yeah.
It's the cycle. Because when you are young and then you grow up, what your younger ones see you doing is what they will want to do or they will come to do.
Yeah.
So in order for us to actually see to this domestic abusive issues, is for us to actually focus more on respect and kindness. we need to choose what? Respect and kindness, because that's what will actually make our younger ones not, copying the wrong things. Okay, because if we create that kind of environment for our younger ones, we are creating what? A better future, a better world for them.
Yeah.
So that's what I want to say. We can
Okay.
heal, we can make up our minds. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Literally, we are almost done. I have had fun, but let me say this. Now, to the perpetrators, I know a lot of you went through abuse, mostly at a young age, but healing is possible at any point, just like my brother said. Healing is always possible. You just need to make up your mind. You just need to believe that things are not static. What your parent did doesn't mean it still continues, or doesn't mean they were right. Watch around, see changes, and do things that will make you happy, your spouse happy, people around you happy. And also, let's normalize going for therapy. Let's normalize speaking to people, learning to breathe out so we can be fine. And to the victims, sometimes I say we call it upon ourselves because mostly you see, you understand, you know this is wrong, but you think society will judge you. My dear, society will always judge you. Society will always say things because you can never please humans. The only person you're supposed to please is yourself and your God, and make your spouse happy. But if the person you're dating doesn't understand you and the person is choosing themselves over you, my dear, walk away.
Definitely.
There is no crime at all for a person who walks out of a relationship, for a person who leaves their family home because of abuse. There is no crime. Always fight to choose yourself over every other person. And also, don't forget to follow us, Co Inspires, on all social media platforms, on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook. You know, we have amazing content, we have motivational content, we have amazing fun content as well. Don't forget to follow us, watch our videos, like it, comment. Yes, so we can drop more. We're still on the topic of domestic violence, and we have much more coming to your screen. Thank you very much.